Hi, it's Keith from Total Home Technologies again. Today's video is on the best home automation system out there. Yeah, I know that was just to get some more likes. What we're going to really talk about is the three big do-it-yourself systems versus the three big professional systems. Enjoy the video. Okay, so let's talk about the big three in the do-it-yourself category. Apple, Google, Amazon. So they're really kind of similar, but let's talk about what the differences are. So two of them make phone operating systems. Apple and Google, the operating system runs on your phone. And there's a little bit of an advantage there because if you're an Apple user, or you're an Amazon or you're a Google user, that may sway you to which platform you're going to use in your home. Amazon doesn't have an operating system for a phone, so you're kind of stuck just using their app within one of those devices. The other thing that's similar to all of them is they all really don't do much with your TV. Yeah, there's such a thing as an Apple TV and a Chromecast and as an Amazon Fire, but the ability to control your TV and change the channel on your cable box is pretty much non-existent. Also, none of them have a remote control. And even though phones are great, not too many people want to yell at their voice device to change the channel on their television or to channel surf. Using your phone isn't great either because you want to light your phone up and unlock it, load an app and press channel up and channel down. You kind of want a good old-fashioned remote. And I really think that's the big thing that the three are missing is they're missing the old-fashioned clicker. That's where the professional ones kind of shine. Here's the other big thing that the three of them have in common. None of the programming, none of the control for your home sits in your house. It's all cloud-based. So if you want some control to happen, that programming sits at Apple, it sits at Google, or it sits at Amazon. So if you don't have internet, you don't have control of your house. Flat out. Even if you want your Amazon Echo to talk to the light that's right next to it, and for some reason internet is out, it doesn't get there. It's all cloud-based. So because of that, they're all a little bit slower than if you had an actual brain running everything in your home. And now here's the other thing is because they're all cloud-based, and most of these companies, especially Google, are in the information collecting business, they're not really selling you home automation products because they want to be in the home automation business. They're selling you home automation products because it's a really great way to collect information about you. And we're not going to talk about security in this video. We're going to have a video on that. But you got to know that when Google sells you a Nest thermostat, they're not making any money off it. The money they're making off it is the information they're collecting about you. And that's an important thing you should know. Okay, now the three big professional systems. Crestron, Savant, Control4. So Crestron, my hat's off to them. They invented Smart House. They've been doing it since the 70s. This whole thing wouldn't exist without them. They are really the founders of it. They are the IBM to the personal computer. But it is a 100% professionally installed product. The end user can really not make any changes in the system. It is challenging to program Crestron, even for a professional. That has to be all you do if you want to be great at it. And they talk their own language. So everything Crestron If you have a Crestron system in your house, you have a Crestron deadbolt. If you have a Crestron system in your house, you probably have Crestron shading and Crestron lighting. They really live in their own ecosystem, kind of like Apple does. You really want to use all of their parts because it works the best. They do offer support for third-party stuff, but they've really said, hey, if you buy the stuff from us, it's absolutely going to work the best, including wire. They sell their own wire. So for better or worse, that's their deal. Savant and Control 4 are both newer in the category. They've both been in it for about a dozen years. And the consumer can program stuff themselves, especially on the Control 4 end. So the next one's Savant. And we sell Savant as well. Don't do a ton of it, but they have a really, really sexy user interface. They do a good job with it. And the more you get involved a professional photographer, the better you can make the interface. That's something they do really well. They don't work with quite as many third-party things, nor do they make as many products as Control 4 or Crestron. And they've had their share of financial troubles. They tell us that's in the past, but I always want to know that the company that I'm installing a system in is going to be around for a really long time. So there's Control 4. And listen, that's the one we sell the most. It's my favorite. We do it every day. And public company, there are more Control 4 systems installed in residential homes than any other automation system in the world. It is probably one of the easiest systems for both the professional and the homeowner to install. Yeah, it's probably the only professional system out there that you, the consumer, can sit down and open up the software, whether you want to use the simple version called When Then, or whether you want to use a really complicated, powerful version called Composer HE. It's powerful enough that you can break it, if you know what I mean. And that's awesome. So they're a public company. They work with hundreds of thousands of parts. And we use it the most. It's the system I would put in my mom's house. As a matter of fact, it is the system that I installed in my mom's house. Another difference between them is Crestron has its own unique programming language that if you've never had a system before and it's your first time out, 99% of the time, the dealer that installed the Crestron system owns that software. And you can't pull the software off the system. So therefore, you're married to that dealer. And the only way you can break up with them and go to another dealer is if you go to them and you buy the source code from them. I've gotten calls from people that had really incredible systems installed in their homes. The dealer had gone out of business and they said, come and make some changes or update some things. And the first thing I said to them is, okay, where's the source code? And they said, source what? Basically, there's nothing I can do in the system unless I reprogrammed the entire house from scratch. So sometimes that cost just as much as the system. So be careful. Savant and Control 4, well, you can change dealers. Absolutely. You can say, I don't want to work with this guy anymore. I want to work with this guy. And you don't need the source code because the source code sits on the system. Funny enough, about 40% of our clients, we didn't do the system for originally. Somebody else did it, and they switched to us. And we could just walk in, plug in, and see everything they did. Pull it up on our laptops. Oh, I know what's going on here. I can make edits. I can make changes. And the dealer, the client can switch from dealer to dealer as they see fit. So that's a really important thing to know when you're picking the professional systems. One more small point. If you take the DIY 3 versus the professional 3. Well, think about support, or if you want to make the system do something new. If you're doing the Apple, Google, Amazon, and you have a problem with something, or you want to try to figure out how to do something that you don't know how to do with it, you're basically stuck with searching the web to see if there's some user forum where somebody figured out the thing that you're having a problem with. Probably not the most fun way to fix something. On the professional 3, you can call your dealer. Your dealer has support from the manufacturer, and any dealer should offer you a support plan so that you can customize and maintain and do things with the system yourself. They're not stuck searching for the solution. They're professionals. They have the solution. And the last thing I'd like to say to wrap this all up is you've got 6 different companies. They're ecosystems. All of those companies have products that fall underneath them, right? The professional systems, their ecosystem is the first 3 systems. You can have a Control4 system, run a Google system, right? So pick your ecosystem. Stay within your ecosystem. And I know I've said this before in other videos, but if you're going, go and see a system in a showroom. I cannot emphasize how much that's going to change the way you think about this stuff. All right, guys, that's all I have today for you. Once again, it's Keith from Total Home. Please like us below and subscribe, and fill in the comments. Which one of the systems are you using? Are you using one of the systems that I didn't mention? Which one do you like? Which one do you don't? And please check us out on Facebook and like us. Thanks a lot. All right, so let's talk about the big 3 DIY or DIY.